developers, and then a number of developers also. So I use we really in the community term rather than just as a
to represent data sets. Is this a consumer-facing thing, or is this going to be, enterprise that's going to come in and use the service?
Yeah, so it's primarily enterprise, but maybe to take a step back. So I'll give you just a high-level view of how the network is designed, and that will explain, I think, where these products sit. So the network has a fully decentralized consensus layer, and that allows for a public ledger to be to exist and to be updated every block, what's happening on the network, what transactions are happening. Then the way that we run compute or smart contracts are then built in these paratimes, or a compute layer. And so each paratime can have a different development experience altogether. So Parcel, which you just brought up, is one of those experiences. And that's primarily built it's a B2B environment. And so it's primarily for businesses and developers who want to build products that allow for data access control, and we found out is many of them wanted to tokenize that data. And so some of the companies we've worked with on that front include Nebula, genomics company, Music Fund, which we talked a little bit about. We're working with an EHR company called Frontida that's helping actually refugees retain ownership of their data. It's pretty cool. And then a number of others that fall into that category. So the main way as as a consumer that you engage with this is really engaging with those products as they launch and build. In addition to that, though, we're seeing a number of other things being built in different paratimes. So there's a private DeFi environment that's being built right now, and that'll primarily allow for things like there's a private DEX that's being built so that when you make trades, it'll help prevent front running. And we ultimately I think we're seeing a couple lending protocols build that are excited mostly because of the under-collateralized lending opportunities that privacy can provide. So that's another environment. That'll launch next month. And I think that'll be one that a lot of, for those who are listening who are not developers, I think there'll be a lot of opportunity to engage with that part of the network too. And then we have an Ethereum-based environment as well, so we're seeing a lot of just building on that way, things that are coming over from Ethereum. We're generally, gaming, DeFi, wallets, a number of things on that side. I would say like more traditional NFT marketplaces. And so all of that, I think people can interact with today. You go to oasiseth.org. That's the best environment to see what's going on there.
And I love how you guys named your company after one of my favorite bands. I love Oasis.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
Gallagher Brothers. I want to ask you a question that, because I don't know that some of our listeners maybe know what a paratime is. So when you talk about this ETH paratime, you're talking about how it's identical to Ethereum. It has faster throughput, lower gas fees, 99% cheaper. What is the paratime?
Yeah, so when you think about maybe by the same set of validators, and so what it also does is we can have one that's Ethereum based, really decentralized, are running on it. You can have some that are permissioned for enterprise use cases, for example.
I just want to say, stop, paratime. Because you can't touch this. That's where you're supposed to have the uncomfortable laughter. Yeah, she's just staring at me like...
He was like, oh my God.
What the hell are you talking about? Oh, calm. So, as you guys are, rolling out this program for the Oasis Network, have a grants program with $1.5 million in funding. So who can and who could apply for said funding?
We're open and looking for a range of, say, a lot of the bigger ticket grants are for development, and so specifically around building out data token apps, for example. Folks doing that, but we also have grants for folks too. So, and education. There's always more that's needed, right? Like for any network, like what I just went through is pretty. And so, and all of us who've been involved in it are we're in the trenches on this day to day, and so it's easy to forget sometimes what makes sense to folks outside of having more side to build out and websites and materials that help explain this in normal terms is always welcome. Great opportunities there. Oasis Pro, you find the application.
Joining us today, the website is jobs.com. Collect, protect, govern. Product with the latest in data security and governance technology. You guys go check it out. And if people want to write you personally, which socials are your favorite?
Yes, Twitter's probably the easiest. It's ANNIEF, ANNIEF, like Frank, V. My DMs are open, and I'm always happy to chat with folks there on Telegram. I think it's as well, so happy to chat there as well. You can find me in our community Telegram and on Twitter most hours of the day.
I thought it was pronounced far.
Yeah, I mean, when I people, I was Brett Favre's. I'd say in the last 10 years, I've stopped doing that as much. Some of his recent news. So,
right. And plus, he spells it
a little different, but it's close enough that you can make the argument. It's basically the thing.
We don't want to
argue. I'm throwing a touchdown pass.
It's not enough. Okay, you win.
Cool.
Right,
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Thank you, Fove, for coming on the show today and sharing your wisdom and your thoughts. Really.
That's true. You know what we do? I enjoy this interview. I love chatting with smart people who are trying to solve big problems. And before we interviewed, and then after this, we found out that Apple is now releasing this thing called, I think it's called Apple Pie. But basically, what they're doing is they're going to go into your iCloud and iMessages and scan your phone for images not approved content.
I always feel like Apple is watching me. Mm-hmm. It's true. Apple, Google. There is coming a time very soon that I am going to get off the iPhone completely. And there's some new products down the pipe. And Travis, part of what I had to do here in Puerto Rico, as you do as well, is set up a new company. And in doing so, I am avoiding Google. I have set up a email account for my new email list, not on Google and not on any of the major services. And I intend to set up Docs and Calendar as well, because Google is just watching all of our stuff. They're evil as can be. I don't use them for search. I use DuckDuckGo. I don't use their browser, Chrome. I use the Brave browser. And I just want to live a Google-free life.
The de-Googleification of Joel Comm.
It's happening.
50 Shades of de-Google.
Some listener feedback, Travis, and usually we don't read the negative feedback, but this one, Zach On wrote us, and he said, just letting you know that I was very disappointed with your episode with Gorab Seth of Mogul. With the teaser at the introduction, after 43 minutes of listening, I never did find out his favorite way to prepare chicken. That was something that was promised, and he didn't tell us.
He does it with an air fryer.
So. You don't know that.
I'm just saying that. I just want to make Zach feel better. So I was trying to disappoint him, and then you just totally disappointed me.
It is the best way to make your chicken. I mean, now you've got this air fryer also, and are you just not digging it?
Well, I tell you what. You know what I did? Here's what I've learned with if you have an air fryer, you can pretty much cook anything in there. But what I made a happy mistake with the other day was I made hamburgers on the grill, and then I went with 375 degrees for 2 minutes, and it came out, the top of the bun was completely toasted. The bottom of the bun completely toasted, but inside the bun that was next to the cheese, the meat was so like gooey and warm, like fresh baked. It was maybe one of the best hamburger experience. I had a hamburgasm. It was so good.
Nice buns, Trav. I just looked here. We've got a couple more reviews that we have.
I'm kind of scared.
3 of them, most recently. One of them is a 5-star review by M Martini 246. 5 stars. Offended. He says, "I'm offended when you don't do accents. Great show, entertaining. Keep it up."
We're very sorry when we do not do accents. We apologize. Most every episode, we try to get at least 1 or 2 offensive accents in there.
Zakru also gave us 5 stars. Thanks, guys. You're really the best or the worst. Lol. Seriously, this show and Nifty are the best podcasts I've seen on crypto. This is Zach, the guy that might be delivering you some tacos one day in Puerto Rico. It was awesome. I told my girlfriend or soon-to-be wife, which is it? Your girlfriend or soon? I don't know if he's proposed or not, or soon-to-be wife. That and bam, I was. Thank you and stay bad. She's a fan now. To your show at the same time. Very cool. And finally, this one came in from Lil Mikey 0630. I'm wondering if...
And this is a 1-star review.
This is actually, it's a 4-star review.
Oh,
Uncultured.
It's not quite 5.
Uncultured. I love you guys and I love the podcast. However, I feel like you both need some culture on the show. No, no shit, Sherlock. Especially being that you guys are filming in Puerto Rico right now. We're not filming, but that's okay. Embarrassing being Puerto Rican and listening to both of you white guys talk about cultural things, and you sound quite idiotic talking about it. So,
well, he gave us a 4. I don't know. That qualifies.
Well, I tried to get out yesterday. Actually, I was supposed to go to the dentist to finally have this tooth yanked, and guess what? Went to the car, and the battery was dead. So I had to call.
The car said no.
I had to call AAA. Had the car towed to Pep Boys here in Humacao, and they were great. Like, the dude there, Giovanni, is the man at the Pep Boys in Humacao. He got me in right away, even though they had a bunch of people waiting. Checked out the battery, replaced it. I paid, and I was on my way.
You were on your way. It was just a battery issue, huh?
Yeah, because I needed a new battery in my user.
Man, that's so good. I'm so glad we're talking about Puerto Rican culture now.
Yeah.
I feel so refined and classy at this moment. I mean, Pep Boys, baby.
Okay. Oh, by the way, we're getting a Chick-fil-A in Humacao.
No, you're not. Are you really?
No, yep, for real. It's going to be right over here by the Walmart. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'll never eat there because the lines are going to be ridiculous. It's going to be crazy.
You know, Joel, speaking of culture, I've noticed this as I've been here for Puerto Rico for several months now, that they love chicken here. Or pollo, as they call it. There's a Kentucky Fried Pollo. There's Popeye's Pollo.
There's Church's
Pollo. And now we're having Pollo Filet.
Yeah. I'm going to open a restaurant.
Is that enough damn classy-ass culture for you?
I'm going to
even have a burger.
My own. Oh, well, they have the pinchos that you really like. It's chicken on a stick.
I love the hell out of pinchos. If you don't know what a pincho is, you just don't have enough culture. Pinchos are pinche awesome.
The only thing that we are promising you from this show is that we and you will stay
Who's bad?
The Bad Crypto Podcast is a production of Bad Crypto LLC. The content of the show, the videos, and the website is provided for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. It's not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice of any kind. You shouldn't make any decisions as to finances, investing, trading, or anything else based on this information without taking independent due diligence in consultation with a professional financial advisor. Please understand that the trading of bitcoins and alternative cryptocurrencies have to invest in any of the currencies or tokens mentioned on this podcast should first seek their own independent professional financial advisor.
We have more culture than we can handle.
Don't pincho me.
It's
not nice. Are you trying to go as deep as you can with your voice? How can you go?
How low?
It's going to go. Our voices are going to go so deep. Horses are going to be able to hear us.
highs ever since. Valuation all of a sudden is a concern, and people catching up in the space, not least which is the O and the Hope trade. So I think you faded in the earnings on May 27th, I believe.
All right, let's move on to a social stock. Twitter, that stock is down more than 4% today, off by 37% from its 52-week highs.
Wi-Fi mode disabled.
So Karen, would you trade it or fade it?
I would fade it. I would fade it. I'd be long Facebook instead.
Very, very succinct. Tim, what's your take? The interesting thing is that, Kathy Wood went in here with Twitter down, and so did Elliott. So it's got, kind of different constituents.
Well, for